In the seconds after U.S. Airways Flight 1549 lost both engines over New York City, Captain Chesley Sullenberger radioed air traffic control. His voice was completely flat. He simply said, "We're going to be in the Hudson." He had exactly 3 minutes to land a massive commercial jet on water, and he didn't waste a single second on panic. 30 years earlier, Johnson & Johnson's CEO James Burke faced a different kind of freefall. Bottles of Tylenol had been laced with cyanide. Millions of dollars and human lives were on the line. Instead of freezing up or shifting blame, Burke methodically evaluated the facts and executed a massive nationwide recall. He prioritized safety over profit and saved the company's reputation. These leaders tapped into a state of mind described thousands of years ago in the Bhagavad Gita. The text calls it the sthita prajna, a person of steady wisdom. It describes a mind that remains completely undisturbed in the middle of severe difficulty. They experience the crisis, but they refuse to let the difficulty turn into dysfunction. This ancient philosophy translates directly into modern crisis management. By breaking it down, we can build a 5-step steady mind decision matrix. This is a practical framework you can use to force your mind out of panic and into clear, objective action. When a crisis hits, your brain's amygdala triggers a fight or flight response, flooding your system with adrenaline. To make a good decision, you have to manually transfer control back to your prefrontal cortex, the logical center of your brain. Step 1 is the emotion scan. Before you look at a single piece of data, write down exactly what you are feeling. Note whether you are operating out of fear of a bad outcome, anger at a coworker, or deep attachment to a specific failing plan. Writing it down is critical. Neuroscientists refer to this as naming it to tame it. The physical act of identifying your anxiety strips the emotion of its unconscious grip and re-engages your logic center. Step 2 is the premortem. Look at the decision you are about to make and assume it has already failed. Write down the absolute worst-case scenario. By forcing yourself to look directly at the failure, you remove the shock value. You accept that bad outcomes are possible, which stops your brain from constantly bracing for an unknown impact. You have now mapped your internal fears and defined your external risks. The biological panic response is neutralized. Your mind is steady, and you are ready to evaluate the actual problem. Step 3 is the logic filter. Take a piece of paper or a digital document and divide it into a 4-quadrant matrix. Quadrant 1 is for facts. List only the irrefutable data points. You have to be ruthless here. Separate what is actually happening from what you wish was happening. Quadrant 2 holds your options. Write down every potential physical action you can take to move forward. Include all viable paths, even the ones that are deeply unpleasant or difficult to execute. In Quadrant 3, assign the pros and cons. Evaluate the options from Quadrant 2 and give each one a logical weight based entirely on the facts you established. Quadrant 4 is your core values. When the pros and cons leave you deadlocked, your values serve as the tiebreaker. Think of James Burke at Johnson & Johnson prioritizing customer safety over short-term profit. The values dictate the final choice. By filtering the crisis through these 4 specific boxes, you prevent emotional hijacking. Your intellect remains completely in the driver's seat during complex data analysis. If you are leading a group, your personal calm isn't enough. Panic spreads through a team rapidly, usually driven by the loudest person in the room. Step 4 is the calm room protocol. When you gather your team to review the matrix, mandate 5 minutes of total silence before anyone speaks. Let everyone read the facts and settle their minds. When the silence ends, do not let the most agitated person speak first. Call on the quietest, most composed member of your team. Their even tone will act as an anchor, establishing a baseline of steady intellect for the rest of the discussion. Step 5 is commit and release. Look at your values quadrant, make your final choice, and write it down. This is where we return to the Gita. The text instructs the person of steady mind to let go of their attachment to the outcome. You must treat triumph and failure exactly the same. You made the best decision possible with the facts you had. This radical equanimity stops you from second-guessing yourself. You cut off the endless cycle of rumination, which allows you to pour 100% of your energy into actually executing the plan. In just a few steps, you took a chaotic, high-pressure situation, paused your biological panic response, filtered the raw data, and produced a clear, actionable plan. That kind of composure is not a genetic gift. It is a highly trainable skill. It is the exact mental conditioning practiced by elite military operators to maintain focus in extreme combat. Special Forces units trained with a specific mantra: slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Running through this matrix might feel like a delay, but that methodical, smooth approach will always yield a much faster, more accurate resolution than a blind reaction. Next time everything goes wrong, step away from the noise and write out the 5 steps. By anchoring yourself to this framework, you solve the immediate problem, and you become the steady mind that the rest of your team can rely on.